This is my baby. Here on Kintsugi Series we talk about living and working in Japan, migrating to Japan from New Zealand, and pretty much just my life. Now, I wanted to talk about what you can expect from the job interview. First, the format of the interview. You're going to be getting one of two things, either Skype or face-to-face. So I was really lucky with the job that I ended up taking. There was a recruiter in my city of Auckland. I did have about, I don't even know, I feel like it was something like 6 different Skype interviews. Sometimes I got the job, sometimes I didn't. But what you can expect is that it will be Skype. That is their preferred way of contact. They'll set up a job interview time with you where you need to log on. I mentioned in my last video that you should be punctual. Message them about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes beforehand. It'll just be face to face. You'll find that you're talking to somebody whose job is recruitment, so you won't necessarily be talking to one of your peers that you'll one day meet. They might be a gaijin, just like you will be, or you might be chatting with a native Japanese person. But yeah, so Skype or in person. 2, fashion and style. So if you know anything about Japan, you've probably heard of salarymen and salarywomen. That's the classic suit and tie look. That is more or less what you should go for, even if you're like a really artsy person. I mean, like, I don't know if you'd call this artsy, but like it's not a suit and tie, that's for sure. Like in one of my interviews I put a button down on and I was wearing my pajama pants at the bottom because it's Skype and you can. Even in the job that I did take, I later found out that my daily wears will be sneakers, leggings and a baggy top. So you don't need to worry about looking like cool and like stylish or like showing your own personality through your clothing on your interview date. They are really just looking for you to meet their standards of, you know, formality. Wear a nice button-up top. It doesn't matter what colour, but I would recommend neutral colours. You know, pink would be fine if you're a girl and you like pink and that sort of thing, but like probably nothing like this lip colour. I would recommend probably white or black or grey. I think that could be quite nice. Even like a dark blue. That would apply for men as well, of course. Women, feel free to wear something that's knee-length skirt or something. Otherwise, pants. Make sure you iron your clothes. I mean, this is kind of common sense for most interviews, but make sure that you have access to that sort of formal wear because they will appreciate it. Makeup. So I kind of just did my everyday face, which would be like similar to this but with more of a nude lipstick. They don't really do heavy westernized makeup over there. Like the beauty industry in Japan is huge, but it's a different kind of beauty. I don't know how or why they would discriminate based on that, but it could count against you. Which is stupid and it shouldn't, but hey, we're not making the rules here. Another thing about fashion that is huge is tattoos. Now, I have 5 tattoos, and in all of my interviews you wouldn't have known it. My main one that I struggle to hide is my little rose here. I made sure that my sleeves buttoned up to there. I also have my arm one there. They, as far as I'm aware, don't even know that one exists. This is your chance to prove that you get to hide anything they don't like, so that later when you do have to reveal, you know, oh, I've actually got like 7 piercings on this ear, and you know, like that sort of thing. Like, you don't need to tell me if you've got like your nipples pierced or anything. This is your chance to prove to them that it's not going to affect your ability to teach. When it comes to hair, I think, I mean, what would your mum like, I guess, is the main, or your grandma. Some mums are pretty groovy. But yeah, even my colour, like, it's kind of red. I'm not sure if you can tell, but this isn't my natural colour. My natural colour is like a really, really dark brown, and I'm afraid that even this might be like a bit too wild if they find out that it's artificial. If you have pink hair, or like maybe you've got an ombre or something, style it in a way that hides the wildness of it. If you've got like an undercut, style it so that that's hidden. It might sound like deceitful, like that, and deceitful. It might sound deceitful, that combined of like the hiding of tattoos. It's not deceitful, it's just proving that you've got 2 sides to your coin, not just this one trick pony of like wild hair and tattoos. They like clean nails, unless you have like, I never have nails done because I'm a florist and my nails are always buggered, but if you just get like a flat coat of colour, like that'll be fine, but don't show up to your interview with like neon pink nails. Like, In a way, I think maybe it proves to them that you're unwilling to assimilate to their cultural requirements. Third thing to expect from your interview is sort of like a mindset. They are going to want to get a clear idea of your mindset and the kind of person you are and like what it is that you're expecting from this experience. If you watched my last video, you'll know I touched on that idea of like what is it that you're wanting out of this experience. 4, your documents. They're going to ask you about documentation and what you're able to provide for them. The 2 most basic ones, your passport and your degree. You take them with you. If you are on Skype, make sure you are flat out 100% confident in your answer that yes, the moment they request them, you can provide them. If your degree is still being processed, maybe you graduated in December and you're waiting till end of January to get your hands on your degree or something like that, you just say, yes, I can 100% give you my degree in January. You know, you just sort of like give them these confident answers, even if it's not the perfect answer. Just be like, yeah, I can do that. I can totally do that for you. So if you're like, oh no, like, yeah, like, don't worry, I'll totally have my degree before I go. Or like, you know, oh yeah, I've never had a passport before, but like, I'll start the process ASAP. Like, to me, it's common sense that that's a bad answer, but just in case you do need to hear that, that's like something that you need to stay on top of. Other documents could include driver's license. So if you are able to drive in New Zealand or Australia, you're eligible to get a Japanese driver's license. So I would, yeah, like have your license with you. Or for example, my qualifications are that I have my degree and then I nearly got my postgraduate diploma in secondary education, and then I got 2 certificates in floristry, as well as when I was in high school I got scholarship in most of my subjects and I got the Senior English Cup Award at my high school, which sounds like I'm just like doing a really nerdy flex, but at the end of the day, if you have anything like that, bring those documents with you, bring the proof. So I suppose what I'm saying is relevant more to the in-person interview point of view, because that's what I ended up taking. When I went into my interview, I gave him those documents, he scanned them and he sent them to head office. That way I didn't need to have them notarized by a JP, or, you know, in America I know it can be a little bit of a handful to get everything notarized. I think I was helping somebody else out online and it was like $50 per document to get it legally notarized. Oh my god, that is ridiculous. So yeah, take them with you to the interview if you can and just get them to sign off on them and say that yeah, I've seen that these are all the original documents and I approve, and I'm sending off the head office in Japan. Even if they don't ask, like, they're prompts for you to go, oh, by the way, like, I've got this or like this, which could be super helpful. The documents would be pre-interview things. So for example, my face-to-face interview, they asked me to write an essay, fill out a questionnaire, and do a couple of other things, more like maybe a basic information on myself sort of questionnaire. Sorry, my battery's running low. Yeah, so make sure you take those documents where necessary, and if it's a Skype interview, just make sure that you have them already filled out. Okay, so I was just talking about documents. Okay, so point number 5 is questions that they're going to ask you. This is like the main one, so I thought I'd leave it to last, otherwise people just wouldn't listen to the first ones. Now that I'm in this, I might say that point number 6 was answers that they're looking for. So point 5 and point 6 we're going to do together. Some of the questions that I was asked were, and I've got them actually physically because they sent them to me beforehand, which was amazing, thank you. Why did you apply for this position? They are going to want answers. Let me find my answers. This is what I sent in. So at my particular job, they said, so I have my phone here, it's like a reference. So they sent me this beforehand. They asked me so many more questions than this, so I guess to them this was like a very basic level. If these were right, then I'll get the interview. I searched this kind of thing as well when I was getting started, and I found some answers, but none of the answers that I found were quite like mine, because I'm just so special. Yeah, why did you apply for this position? I said something like, the job description on Gaijinpot instantly attracted me to this position. I feel that I meet the requirements. The style of teaching described is exactly what I'd been hoping to find. and the use of your classroom philosophy sounds instinctual to my approach in the classroom. Why do you want to be a teacher? I love children, and even when I'm not working, I enjoy being in a learning environment. Teaching is so meaningful to me. To pass on life skills and academic knowledge to another human is one of the most rewarding experiences in life. The feeling is tenfold when working with children. I truly believe that. So that's not me like bullshitting my way to the perfect answer or anything like that. Why do you want to work with children? I quite genuinely enjoy the company of children. Although I have a serious side, I am a very bubbly, creative and fun-loving person. I find that my energy and patience works well around children. Plus, I think they say some of the funniest things, and to be around their carefree energy brings me so much joy. Why do you want to work in Japan? I've always dreamed of going to Japan. Growing up, I was exposed to Studio Ghibli and lots of anime and Takashi Murakami. There is a creativity in Japanese culture that I want to learn more about. Furthermore, I am fascinated by the way Japanese society operates in ways different to my own. Have you applied for other companies? Yes, I have applied to several other companies as I am determined to move to Japan. What skills or experiences do you have that are relevant to this work? I am a creative person. My entire life has been in pursuit of creativity, be it painting, writing, drawing, singing or any other method of creative expression. I think this skill will tie into your approach to teaching. I've spent a lot of time teaching, formally and informally, and have learnt that I'm a very patient person with a lot of empathy. I do not fear being in front of a crowd and have even walked in New Zealand fashion. Have you lived in Japan before? Do you speak Japanese? No, I have never lived in Japan. I have been studying Japanese online via YouTube lessons. I am progressing, but I am still at a very basic level and I am eager to learn more. How does working at blah 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 fit into your long-term plans? Working as a blah 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 teacher is ideal for my long-term goal of teaching English, and especially of teaching overseas in an environment that promotes enthusiasm and affection as part of its pedagogy. How long do you think you might live in Japan? I am planning to live in Japan for minimum 1 year. Don't say shorter because they won't like that. These are minimum 1 year contracts, by the way. I am open to staying longer. I think that they like that as well because they want somebody who because they're investing in you really, so they want to feel like their investment's going to be worth their while. Yeah, so those are the answers I gave in my pre-interview. As you'll notice, I haven't mentioned where I got my job. That's because I'm not there yet. I don't know if I will even reveal. I mean, I probably will just naturally over time be like, this is where I work, but like I don't want to feel like I'm giving you a cheat sheet, because my answers won't work for you if they're not true to you. You know, I could bullshit my way through this and make up a million different things that made me sound good, and then it will shoot me in the foot later. So right now, this is my plan. I'm hilarious. So some of the hypothetical questions that they asked me were like, and if you remember, sorry, this is like a side note, if you remember my previous video, I mentioned like at point number 8, the sales pitch. You're gonna like just naturally learn how to summarize yourself and describe yourself in ways you've never had to before. I learned that like empathy and patience, creativity and encouragement were huge ones for me, and like being approachable, and pretty much I would say that like kindness is one of my core values. And from learning that, I could take that knowledge and apply it to all of my answers really seamlessly. So some of the questions that they asked me were, you're in the classroom with 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. One of the children has wet themselves. What do you do? There's no like 1 + 1 = 2 here. Like this is, what would you do? My answer was that I would, you know, just one-on-one somehow, there's probably a language barrier, but I would let them know that I recognize what's going on. I'll put them somewhere like in a corner or something with some toys. I'll get all the other children, maybe like 12 children, but I would put them in a different activity, something familiar that required very little direction, whatever tools I have to my disposal. And then once those children are all distracted, I would take the child who's wet themselves and I would help them out. I would take them to the bathroom or get them into like a spare change of clothes. But pretty much that came naturally to me because that's what I would want. What's coming first, what's shining through here, is that this child needs me to protect them in this situation. You have a parent that's always running late. Pickup time is 9:30 p.m. You've got concert tickets at 10:30 p.m. It's 9:45. Parent is 15 minutes late. what do you do? I mean, this is common sense stuff. Like, obviously they're trying to bait out like the dipshits that would answer, I'll just leave the child, not my problem, I'm only paid till 9:30. End of the day, the children come first. So yeah, I would wait with the child, and then I would have a word with the parent. So yeah, they're either just like lazy and taking advantage of our system, or something's wrong. You know, something is not okay at home and they're working like 12 jobs. Obviously hyperbole, but yeah, there's no right or wrong answer here. No, that's a lie. There is very much a wrong answer, but there's many different right answers. Another scenario was something to the effect of it's drop-off time, one of your 6-year-olds is throwing a tantrum and hitting other students, what do you do? For me, being more in the, like, I feel like I'm gloating or something, or being like vain, I guess, but yeah, like essentially being a warm person. I anticipate that I'll be fine with a tantrum. I mean, I've experienced many tantrums from many adults, so like kids are fine, they can't help it that they're feeling crap. They don't even know what's going on half the time. The answer I gave was that I would separate them for the safety of everyone involved. And then I would distract the other students, and then I would deal with the child at hand through whatever communication style I have at my disposal. I'm like, cool, well if he wants to spend the first 15 minutes of the hour drawing, then maybe it's better for all the other students that he spends that first 15 minutes of the class drawing, and then he can join in once he calms down. That was my answer. And I think it worked for me. I think that they liked that. Oh my gosh, okay, this is another question. Hopefully my camera doesn't die by the time I say this. So one of the scenarios was you're standing with a bunch of 14-year-olds. They're all in on it. One of the students goes around and does like this thing, like if you watch Naruto you'll know, it's like 1,000 years death, like that sort of thing. I don't get it, but apparently it's like a huge joke in Japan. But yeah, and they do that to you. And it's like, in Western community as like a woman, if anyone came up to me and like violated my personal space, like holy crap, that is such a big no-no. But like being aware that that is part, like there's a huge practical joke over there by the seams of things. You know, what would you do? Like, I wouldn't laugh. I would probably be so tempted to laugh, especially out of like awkwardness as well, just sheer like shock. But yeah, I would try my best not to laugh, because then in a way it would promote that it's okay. But I also wouldn't like get super mad. I would just be stern and definitive in my response. It would be more like 100% this is not okay. Like I wouldn't want to embarrass them and make them feel guilty and really crappy about themselves. But I would definitely want to use this as a teachable moment to be like, never do this again. You're lucky you did this to me, because next time you'll do this to the wrong person and you'll be charged for assault, you know, and especially to a gaijin where the cultural differences might come through tenfold. Yeah, so I would make it more like that. I would just sort of like really convey how serious this could be. I wouldn't just straight up yell, unless like obviously if I was hurt and it was like a really natural like primal response, then I'd be like, what the fuck? But like, yeah, I wouldn't, my conscious choice wouldn't be anger, and it wouldn't be grumpiness. It's just not who I am. Yeah, so I mean those are some of the hypotheticals that they offered, which I found so fun to answer. I really liked being given a glimpse. Like, I don't know if they asked those because they've happened before in their real life experiences, but I really enjoyed being given the opportunity to answer those. That's all I can think of in terms of the like questions that they'll ask. Obviously they're going to say at the end like, oh, do you have any questions for us, in which case, you know, like give them the whole list, take that opportunity, ask. They are going to so appreciate that. You asking questions means you're there to learn. The thing is, know your stuff, like know your answers before you go in. Plan a general vibe that you want to give out to this interviewer. Oh, another question that they'll ask is, where do you want to live? That's a huge one. Oh, some of the other questions they'll ask is, how soon can you move to Japan? So that's a big one. They'll want to know, like, you need to have those answers ready. Another thing, this is like another bonus one, they want to know that you're financially ready to go to Japan. I can't believe I didn't mention that earlier. They are going to want you, and they might even ask you to prove it, that you have $3,000 to $5,000 after buying plane tickets in your bank account ready to convert. I hope that was helpful and that you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, subscribe. I talk about similar topics regularly. So yeah, from Kintsugi Sarah, thank you very much. Bye.